Hey everyone, if you're using Codex to manage your business data, you know that change is pretty much the only constant. So in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into a feature designed to handle exactly that, revisions. Let's get right into it. All right, let's start with something every single one of us deals with. Your data is never static, right? It's always evolving, getting updated, being corrected. Whether you're talking about engineering designs or sales orders, change is just part of the game. So just think about your own workflows for a second. When a product design needs a tweak, or maybe a contract has to get new pricing for next year, how are you handling that right now? It's a really critical question, and it pretty much impacts your entire operation. And this right here really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? You have to innovate, you have to create new versions, but you absolutely cannot afford to lose the past. You need that clear history for any kind of audit, and you need those stable old versions to keep critical processes, like a production line, running without any disruption. And this is exactly where the revisions feature comes in. It's so much more than just an undo button. Think of it as a purpose-built system designed from the ground up to give you total control and, frankly, peace of mind whenever you're managing change.
So, what even is a revision? Well, at its core, it's a linked copy. You're basically taking a snapshot of an item at a very specific moment in time and creating a brand new parallel version that you can modify completely safely, all without ever touching the original.
And this is where the real magic happens. Every single time you create a revision, you're building out a clear lineage for that item. It's almost like creating a new branch on a family tree. It gives you this complete, totally traceable history of how that item has changed over time.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds powerful, but is it complicated? And the answer is not at all. Let's just walk through how you can put this to work in just a few clicks.
Seriously, it really is this simple. From your item, just hit Create Revision. Now, I want you to pay close attention to step 3. That revision message, that's your note to your future self. It's your note to your team. It explains the why behind the change. It is absolutely crucial for good record keeping. Then you just click Validate and you're done. Now, this is a super important detail you've got to understand. When you make a revision, it copies the item itself, but it's still going to point to the exact same referenced items from the original. So if your first bike design points to a specific tech spec document, your new revision will point to that same document to start with. It's a key detail for keeping your data clean and reliable. Okay, so the theory is cool, but how does this actually help you get your job done day to day? Let's walk through 2 really common scenarios where revisions are an absolute lifesaver. For our first example, let's picture a bill of materials for a bike. It's been validated, it's approved, and now it's petrified in Codex. That just means it's locked down so the production team can build from it with total confidence. So here's the classic problem, right? Production is humming along, building bikes based on that lockdown design. But your engineering team needs to get started on next year's model, and it's going to use a totally different frame material. You can't just go in and edit the current BOM. That would cause chaos. And the solution is just beautifully simple. By creating a revision, you're basically creating 2 parallel streams of work. The original, petrified BOM, it stays completely untouched. Production continues without a single interruption. Meanwhile, the engineering team can go wild on the new revision, updating the frame, changing components, and getting ready for the future model. Okay, let's switch gears and look at another example, this time from a completely different part of the business. Let's imagine a contract document. It's been sent to a customer, and you're just waiting on that final signature. Now, this is a tricky spot to be in for sure. You can't mess with the contract that's about to be signed. That could put the whole deal at risk. But at the same time, you've got to get the updated version ready for renewal next year, and it's going to have all new pricing. And once again, revisions to the rescue. The original contract stays stable, unchanged, making sure you're legally compliant for the current year. And at the exact same time, you create a revision where you can safely plug in all the new pricing and terms for next year. It gives your business the agility it needs to plan ahead. And hey, here's a little pro tip for you. We've been talking a lot about locked or petrified items, but you don't actually have to wait for an item to be locked. You can create a revision at any point in its life cycle. It's a great way to create a safe branching point for development, or just to explore some new ideas. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? What is the one thing you should really remember about mastering revisions? It all comes down to one word: confidence.
Revisions give you a complete, unchangeable history of how your data evolves. That, in turn, creates a secure, reliable audit trail that'll stand up to any kind of scrutiny. And ultimately, that empowers you and your team to manage change not as a risk, but as a controlled, deliberate, and confident process.